Good afternoon, evening, morning, hello. YouTube, here we are, daily puzzle time. 7th of August. Let's dive on in. White to move, what's the hint? Is go all the way. Interesting. So we have immediate threats would be a check with the knight going to, let's have a look, e7 check, but then the rook takes the knight. I wonder if it's got something to do with pushing that d pawn all the way. I wonder if that's possible. What order would it go in? Would I move the knight, rook takes, then I push the pawn? I'm sure my f rook comes into play to attack the bishop at some point. I think it's the knight first, then the pawn. Knight, let's have a look. Knight moves, rook takes, pawn to d6. The rook blocks it. I move my f rook to the e file to attack the bishop. Bishop moves. Then the rook moves to check the king. King moves. Don't know, I don't see it. I don't see it. I do not see it. So if the pawn goes first, if the d pawn goes to d6, bishop takes the knight, and the pawn goes to d7, attacking the rook. The rook can just block. And then does the f rook come across? I don't know. Feels like the check should be first, and I was wrong. Don't do that.
White has a major advantage.
See, that circle says, let me reset the board. Here we go. So I'm thinking it must be the pawn move first then. No. Reset board. I hate it when I start guessing. So do I pin the bishop to the rook? Potentially. It doesn't feel like the right move. I am running out of options. Okay. So now, do I start pushing the pawn? Or do I just take the bishop? If I take the bishop, the rook comes down. Then do I start pawn pushing? Not really. I don't know. I don't know. I think these hints put you off because it says go all the way. It feels like that pawn should be pushed, but I'm being distracted by thinking that constantly. Or do I attack the bishop with the pawn? Do I go to f3? That's a good question. Oh, do I? No, I don't. So am I just taking the bishop? Okay, so now is it just a pawn push? Because the knight is protecting d8. Perhaps that's the case. That was it. So, yeah, I got so many of the moves wrong at the beginning. Pretty disappointing. I should have been aware that the knight was covering the 8th rank that the pawn was going to. More analysis, more practice. We'll get there eventually. Until next time.